Erosion, part of the Rocky Mountain Field Institute Citizen Science Training. After watching this video, volunteers will be able to describe the effects of erosion and identify erosion on the landscape. Erosion is a weathering process caused by wind, water, and other natural agents. One question we want to have in our mind while we're out monitoring the landscape is, how does erosion affect the landscape and how can you detect it? So we can start with this image right here. This is a trail that is following the fall line more or less. We've been discussing that in some of the other videos. But now this trail, the vegetation surface here is about waist high, and all of this soil has been lost because this is the easiest path for the water to take, and it's also where we're walking, degrading the vegetation which holds the soil in place. So what causes erosion in the garden? Well, we have huge recreational impact. Millions of people walk in the garden every year, and they don't necessarily stay on trail. Not because they are trying to be malicious, but there's actually a study done to show that a lot of people who walk off trail don't understand or don't see that they're walking off trail, and they also don't detect a change in vegetation due to that behavior, and therefore the idea that there's a problem is really unknown to them. So there's high visitor pressure, and here's a picture where this probably Gamble oak stand here. The soil is completely carved out from underneath. This is like a cave caused by the root mass, and then the soil is gone. Okay, and then here also lack of awareness, people just walking wherever, and there is no vegetation between these woody shrubs here. On this trail we see here another fall line trail. This is climbing access, and you can see that the soil loss is huge. This is one of those little signs that says, please do not walk here. We're trying to restore this area. I could crawl underneath of it. That's how washed out the trail is. This soil is coming straight across the main road and dumping into the Central Valley, where we talked about there being an increase in sedimentation. Well, it's coming from these social trails. Alright, so what is causing this? Sure, it's the recreational impact, but a lot of the trails in the garden also are in poor condition. Haven't been maintained, and or they're poorly designed. So they could be following the fall line, or they could just be in places where they're not in a place where people want to go. And so people are just compelled to head towards that beauty rock, and there's no trail getting there. Here we're seeing a problem of what I like to call sweethearting. So this is a sweetheart trail. 2 or more horses walking right next to each other, creating a gulf. The trail is becoming a giant gulf. So the typical single track tread is 18 inches. Well, 18 inches is basically from the tip of your fingers to your elbow. And right here we're looking at a trail that could be 10 feet wide. Okay, we also have impacts just from folks picnicking. So getting close to a nice rock and then just hanging out. So here we have almost no vegetation on the surface. The slope isn't that bad, but there's just really high impact use. And then over here on the right, this is a lot of erosion caused from paved parking areas and roadways. So the parking areas and pavement, this is an impermeable surface. No water can percolate into a parking lot. It just aggregates and rushes off the parking lot, causing a lot of water loading and erosion in nearby areas. So this is an average sized man, and the landscape is up here about at his head, so we can guess that this is about 4 feet of soil at least that has eroded away due to the paving of surfaces in the park. Some of these images are from the Garden of the Gods Restoration Report, and that document can be downloaded from the Rocky Mountain Field Institute website.